Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us, whether you're catching us live or watching the recording. My name is Jordan Roberts. I'm with Journey Alliance, and I'll be the host of today's panel. In just a few moments, you'll be hearing from some leaders in the construction industry about how they're using AI in their work right now. And all of the panelists here today are part of our AI transformation method, which is a training that is specifically designed to help you get out of that AI overwhelm and find real practical applications for it, which is what our panelists will be sharing today, is the real applications, the real change. And before we dive in, one other quick announcement. Journey Alliance is launching a show called Journey Intelligence, which will be live every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Eastern. We'll be sharing updates from AI and tips on how to practically apply them. If you're interested in that, I am dropping a link to it in the comments. And as well, if you want to learn more about AI training, you can scan this QR code on the right hand. I think it's the right-hand side of the screen. And it'll take you to our website so that you can download resources and learn more. And with that out of the way, I'm going to let our panelists here introduce themselves. So we'll start with you, Stacy. If you could just introduce yourselves or introduce yourself. And
Sure. So I'm Stacy Holsinger, owner of Steel Toe Communications. We're a digital marketing agency that focuses and specializes on social media marketing and copywriting for commercial contractors, but we also work with vendors, suppliers, specialty subs. And then we also have a national social media awareness campaign called ChatCT on TikTok and Instagram, where we're trying to connect career explorers to the trades.
Awesome. Thank you, Stacy. All right, we'll go to you, Brittany, and let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Brittany Cooper. I started People Create Profit a couple of years ago. I am a leadership consultant and coach with over 15 years working in blue-collar industries like mining, construction, and ag. In my career, I often saw how people get promoted for their technical skills, but they're not given the training they need to actually lead others. And that's what sparked me to start my company. So I specialize in developing frontline managers and supervisors to help them build, the skills they need to lead teams well. So through workshops and coaching and culture strategy, I partner with trades professionals. We really see that it improves retention and safety and morale. And so, at the end of the day, it's, in my opinion, the people who create the profit, and they deserve the tools to succeed. Thanks.
Love that. Thank you, Brittany. Happy to have you. And Jesse, introduce yourself for the people who don't know you.
Yes, good morning. My name is Jesus Hernandez. Everybody knows me as Jesse. I am, owner, operator, founder, whatever, of Depth Builder. And I get to help construction companies and people make production better in the field and the office. And it's kind of awesome that we all seem to have an affinity for the trades, because that is my background and they are my favorite audience. I work with GCs, that's fine. But I love working with the trades because there's so much help to provide, and they're amazing people. And I spend a lot of time on the internet, so people see my face, and I'm always being a goofball, and I'll do my best to behave today.
Thanks, Jesse. So I've seen quite a few people join. So before I jump into the questions, I just want to say we really want this to be interactive. So if you think of any questions as we're going along, please drop them in the comments and I'll bring them up for our panelists. We love questions. We love interaction. We want that. So please drop them in the comments. Additionally, if you didn't catch in the intro, these panelists are part of something called the AI transformation method, which is training designed to help you find real-world applications for AI. If you want to learn more about it, you can scan this QR code and it will take you to our website where you can download a resource or just read more about it. And with that said, I'm going to pose our first question here to you, Jesse, since you were the last to speak. When did AI first land on your radar as something that might be relevant to your work or role?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I heard a lot about it and I was like, yeah, fake news, right? Whatever. And then when I started kind of understanding the breadth of it, I'm like, oh damn, I'm like using it already, not like to the fullest, but so where at first, when I first like kind of like say, oh, this is AI, is the software that I use to edit my videos, to edit the podcast and stuff, has all kinds of AI functionality built into it. And so when I first started using it, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, is when I was like, oh, AI is going to take over the world. I'm like, yeah, whatever. But little by little, they were adding features that I could use, and then I was using it like, oh, that saves me time. Oh, that saves me time. But I hadn't made the connection between AI and me actually using it. And then when I started learning, I'm like, oh, damn, like, okay, this is good. So that's how it entered my realm of awareness. And to this date, I'm getting better because of the course, of course, but I've specifically been using it in my content production, which for a business, and we know the value of branding and messaging, all positioning, it is awesome because it'll just take all your goodness and filter it down and make it clear. Like it's super, super powerful. That's where I'm at with it.
Gotcha. Yeah, the content use is something I'm very familiar with in my role as content manager. You guys did not tell me I was muted. No, I was saying, I'm very familiar with that content use as a content manager. That is definitely such a good area to use it, and it helps you be so much more efficient. It really amplifies what you're able to do. So definitely relate to that one. So Stacey, I'm going to pose this question to you. When did AI first land on your radar as something that might be relevant to your work or your role in the construction industry?
So very early on, actually, I happened to be at a social media marketing conference in San Diego, and some brave soul, I wish I remembered his name. He is on LinkedIn, AI expert. It was like 2 weeks out when ChatGPT just made their official launch, and he did a little presentation. He was the only one to do an AI presentation and told us about what to expect, and everyone in the audience was like, what? Like, we just couldn't believe what was coming out. So fortunately, I got introduced to it early on, but it doesn't mean that I actually started working in it, because it was very overwhelming what he was telling us and hard to grasp at the time. And then over time, the pressure's on to really give it a shot. But that's when I first learned about it, like 2 years ago, because it's been about 2 years, I think, since it's been launched in March when it first all came out.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy with how fast it's moved. It's like, whoa, it's
Yeah.
kind of hard to believe it hasn't been here longer.
Mhm.
All right, Brittany, I'll pose that question to you. When did AI first land on your radar as something that might be relevant to your work?
About 2 weeks ago, Jordan, when
Love
3
it.
weeks ago, I am not an early tech adopter. I never have been, I never will be, but it was a combination of you seeing your posts on LinkedIn about how you're using ChatGPT demystified some of it for me, and then watching the kind of the pitch for our AI transformation class, and knowing that without taking that class, I would just be skimming the surface if I ever decided to use it on my own. But it was also like really good timing because my 9-year-old was looking at pictures of a puppy she wants, and she showed one to me and she said, "Do you think this is AI generated?" My 9-year-old, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I should probably educate myself so that I can make informed decisions." But no, it was not on my radar, Jordan, as something that I would use in my business until you reached out to me. And I am so grateful already, just 2 weeks in, for the Journey Alliance training. I can't wait to be a black belt.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That's promo that you couldn't buy. So thank you for that. the belt system that she's referring to here, just to have some clarity there, is how when you go through this training, it starts at white belt, which is the very basics of using AI, and then you get all the way up to black belt, which is the more complex stuff, like creating AI based assistant, that kind of thing. I'm going to drop a link to the AI transformation website so it's easier for you to access as the audience. But for our next question, was there a specific moment or challenge or opportunity that really pushed you not just to look more closely at AI, but really to start using it? We'll start with you for that one, Stacy.
Yeah, so I just graduated from the Goldman Sachs entrepreneurship program. It's called 10,000 Small Businesses. They have chapters all across the US, but I was the Baltimore chapter, and our assignment was to develop a growth plan. So to work on your business, not in your business, over 3 or 4 month period. And each week when we're meeting with our growth team, we had intense assignments to do, research on our business and tons of content to produce. And it was really overwhelming. And they said, you're allowed to use ChatGPT. So I'm like, okay, this is when I'm going to start learning it. Plus, I was fortunate. We had 2 people in our cohort that was their business, was AI. So they kind of walked me through it. And they helped so much with the growth plan. And it was amazing. And there was so much I learned by just each week using ChatGPT to help answer the questions for me. And it's still you, right? Like you're
Yeah.
still putting your input about your business, but just helping formulate that plan, because in the end, I had to submit a 100-page document. So
Oh, wow.
to do that on my own while running a business and attending these classes I don't know how they did it before ChatGPT, like for those cohorts. So that's when I have true buy-in now, for sure.
Yeah, I relate to that. I'm doing a lot of complicated math for my master's program, and I immediately I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, explain this to me like I'm 10, and that helps so much. So that is such a great use case for it and a great real example there. So I'm going to move this question to you, Brittany. Was there a specific moment or challenge? And I know you said 2 weeks ago, so maybe let's just go a little deeper into that, how that pushed you to look more closely at AI.
Sorry, Jordan, I don't have a great answer for this. It was really just seeing your posts on LinkedIn and then you reaching out about the AI transformation program that I was like, oh, I should probably think about this. That was it.
No, I think that is a good answer. A lot of people are in that place. They're like, I should probably do something with this. And then they kind of don't think about it again until something prompts them. So, maybe this will be the prompt for them. Well, then I will pose that question to you, Jesse. Was there a specific moment, challenge, opportunity that made you look more closely at AI?
Yeah, I think there's been probably levels. Like, to echo what Stacy said, the most recent thing is when I I can use this to do research, and I can use this to like brainstorm ideas with. It's like, okay, this is awesome. But it's like, like the belt system in the program. There's so much more. So now it's like, okay, there's more. I need to learn that. I just got to take my time. I'll get there. But in terms of like the thing that helped me say, okay, start using this, it was, I do my Monday morning hugs. Every Monday I put out a video, and then that turned into a newsletter, which was fine. But writing, like sitting down and typing out my thoughts, I like to do it. It took a lot of time.
Yeah.
And so that the script, which is the software I use to edit, they added a button and it said convert to blog. And I said, let's see what this does. And so I did. And it took what I said in my little 2-minute video and expanded and kind of added some stuff. And just like that, I mean, like less than a minute. And I'm like, okay, I don't like everything that it says or necessarily the way it says it, but I can go in there now and click or like delete, cut out, add, muddy it up so that it has like people know it's not me, or it'll sound more like me. And that was like, okay, how many of these repetitive type tasks do I have that I can assign to Chat GPT? And I'm kind of weird about it because like I don't want them to do all my work. Like the stuff that I put out, the newsletters and stuff, is based on a video that I delivered an idea or a message on. It's not the inverse. Like I have a problem with saying, give me an idea to talk about. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about, upload it to the thing, click the button. And so whatever it produces in terms of text is based on the idea or thought that I fed into it via video. And I got a lot of video, y'all. So watch out.
Yeah. Yeah. So that human element, it sounds like, is really, really critical for you in maintaining that.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So as you're talking about this, you're naming some use cases that you're kind of already working with. Is there anything that you were hoping AI could help you with that you've started using in recent time, or that you're still hoping you can figure out how to use AI to help with?
Is that for me?
Yeah, sorry, Jesse. That was
Yeah.
a
Okay.
question for you.
Well, here's one thing that I'm not crazy about AI, and maybe my my hopes for what we can get out of the class is just outrageous. But
Mhm.
I know like the thing that I really want cannot be done in one of the AI things. It can be done through a combination. So when I say AI things, I'm talking about like Chat GPT and Claude, and then the video stuff, and then the image stuff. Like they all kind of do their own special thing. And so the combination of those things can produce the outcome I want. What I want is one place where I can make the request with like 3 or 4 clicks and then get what I want.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is there's apps even where I can upload a video, put in some keywords, and then say, cut me some clips, and it'll cut those clips, right? Directly from the video. What's that? Opus Clips is right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Which is fine. But that's awesome. But I can't do that. Like I have to go to Opus Clips to do that. If I want to write body and copy and headlines and hooks, I got to do that in Chat GPT. If I want to convert it into all of that into a PowerPoint or a presentation of some sort, I have to go to a different AI thing. And so for me, you can tell there's all these ideas, but going to all these things, and like bottom line, I suck at remembering passwords. So for me, that's the friction point of like, I'm going to go create all these stupid things. And now I got to remember passwords. Like, come on, AI, fix this.
Wait, Jesse, you don't have Google remember your passwords for you?
No, I'm not comfortable with that. But even if I did, I would
that's
forget
fair.
that stupid password.
That's fair. That would put you in trouble. Okay.
Mhm.
Well, for those of you that are just joining, I just want to throw out a reminder. If you have any questions, please throw them in the comments, or any comments. Eric here cracked a joke at my use of the word prompt for prompting you to use AI, which is very funny because that is how you get AI to give you anything at all.
Mhm.
So, Brittany, I'm going to pose this next question, or that same question to you. Was there anything that you were specifically hoping AI could help you with when you maybe started the course or started learning about AI at all?
One thing, and this is so elementary, I'm going to look back on this video once I've completed my black belt and realize how I don't even know all of the possibilities yet. But I, like I said, am a low tech user, slow adopter, and I still write out, like I stream of consciousness write every single morning. And it was just last week during our white belt training that it occurred to me I could read this. I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks. I could read this into I don't know what yet, and have as the ideas, because the ideas have to come from my head to my hand to paper through a pen. But I can read then, have a transcript, have something else to go on, and then catalog it and have it searchable. I mean, that blows my mind. And I know this is so rudimentary. for some, but as like someone who's been using this for 2 weeks, that is mind blowing to me. And I still don't even know how, but I know by the time I'm done with the AI transformation course, I will know how. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I kind of do like a stream of consciousness with ChatGPT because I hate typing. So I'll do voice to text with it, and I'll just and give it what I want. But it also, you're going to be blown away, Brittany. It has the ability to have conversation with you. They have you can hit and talk to it, and it'll actually like give you input as you go along. So it is really cool, and that is actually a fantastic use for it. I don't think that's super rudimentary. It might be one of the early uses that you find for it, but it's a really good one. So Mike here has pointed out for you, Jesse, that you can use Zapier for connecting multiple tools and automating workflows. So that was a really good call out. I just wanted to put that on there for a second.
With another password.
Well, I don't know what to tell you about that. Get a password notebook or something, but so Stacey, same question to you. What were you hoping that AI would help you with when it caught your attention?
So many things. I think we're all talking about use cases. It's just trying to identify those use cases, which are, I think, the most intimidating thing when you first start out with AI. It's like, well, what are the possibilities? So the one thing I want to look forward to is I'm not a numbers person by any means. I hate math. I was always terrible at it. And apparently you can create a story and it could kick back numbers to you. I've used it for calculating different results with social media. Now, this might be something you don't want to do with ChatGPT or a personal thing, but I know you can, if you run a business and own a business, you can share your financials and say, tell me the story of my business. Like, where am I spending too much money? Or like, which months am I performing well versus other months? So the slower months you can, offer different things. So I think the numbers portion of it is what I'm really excited to learn more about, and how numbers can help tell stories better.
Yeah, that is such a fantastic point of view for somebody, especially for somebody who doesn't. I'm with you. I am not a numbers person. Like, I don't think that way. But being able to have it transformed into that story type thing, that is such an amazing use for it. So that is really good. And I look forward to seeing how you do that actually. Really can't wait for that one from you. So Jesse, Eric had a suggestion. He'll keep your passwords for you.
I'm going to send them my social security, PIN number, everything.
Nice.
Go ahead. I'll help you manage it too. So for those of you just joining or just tuning in, this training that we're talking about, the black belt, white belt, all that thing that we're mentioning is the AI transformation method, which is the training that Journey Alliance offers to help you find practical application for AI. I've included a link in the comments, or you can scan this QR code up here to learn more about it. I'll leave that up for a second while we go into our next question here, though. Brittany, I'm really interested in hearing this one from you. I think you've kind of talked around it, but how would you describe your current relationship with AI? Hands-on, cautious, curious, skeptical? How would you describe?
After this, I'm going to prompt ChatGPT to help me come up with a new word, because I keep having this sensation that is awe. It's awe and amazement coupled with fear and disgust.
Yeah.
And I don't have a word for it. I am constantly, every day, blown away, but still terrified.
Yeah.
Of just the unknown, the implications. However, I'm so grateful. That's not going to be a reason for me to put my head in the sand anymore and just put my blinders on, which is what I would be doing if you hadn't reached out to me, Jordan. So,
well, I actually want to dig into that a little bit, though. Your fear of it. Can you explain it a little more? What is it that has you afraid of it? What does that look like for you?
right now it's twofold. One is, so my background is actually in philosophy, And I went into it because I wanted answers. And then you come away knowing, wow, you're like, the more you know, the more you don't know. And you just have to be open to the unknown.
Mhm.
And so I'm still struggling with that part of it though, with AI. There's just so much unknown.
Yeah.
And it's like a fear. But I guess on a more granular level, I'm very scared. I'm very scared that we don't know and my kids won't know what they can trust.
Yeah.
That is, it undermines so much, and trust is so important. So that's the root of my fear is that. But again, it's only through awareness and education that we'll be able to parse through it all. So
Yeah. And no, I think that's a really, really good awareness on your part as well. I agree with you. I mean, you're seeing there are definitely going to be bad actors with AI, as with anything. When email came about, there were bad actors with email, that kind of thing. So like anything, it's educating yourself and becoming aware of how to tell these things. And eventually there will be regulations that follow, I'm sure. So I completely get that fear though. And thank you for diving deeper into that. So I'm going to move to you, Stacy, for this question. How would you describe your current relationship with AI? Hands-on, cautious, curious, skeptical?
So definitely hands-on at this point now, probably 6 months deep hands-on. Never always feel like a beginner, I will tell you that. Every time I feel like I'm getting ahead, then I log on to LinkedIn and someone's like kicking my ass on there. So I'm like, man, I still don't know so much, but it's
Yeah.
really refreshing to hear in the trainings, like they're constantly adding features. So
Yeah.
it's just something that unfortunately you have to like kind of keep up with and keep tabs. And I think about it, and I wanted to pose this question for you guys because I don't remember this. When Google first came out, was there fear around Google, or was everyone just excited that we had open access to the internet? There was fear.
Fear.
Okay, so it's like the same thing, and there's a lot of talk on LinkedIn that Google's going to go away and ChatGPT is going to replace this. And I work with a lot of young professionals doing my social campaign and everything, and they are on ChatGPT. They're like not on Google anymore. So, and you were talking about your kids. That's a big fear of mine too. My son already knows how to use it, and he's almost 7. So I mean, it's just super easy to pick up. This next generation that's coming, that's their world now. So again, we can't ignore something like this. We have to keep up with it. God forbid you're hiring younger people and they know how to use all these tools and you're not even familiar with it. So like the unknown, I am skeptical. Well, maybe not skeptical is not the right word anymore. I'm not no longer skeptical. It's here. You have to use it, no doubt. But cautious a little bit. For what I do in marketing, it's mostly brand awareness. So there's no confidential type of stuff with my clients that I have to deal with unless it's a confidential project that has an NDA, but we're not going to be plugging that into ChatGPT. On the proposal front, though, RFPs, when you're completing that, that does scare me. Are people using ChatGPT or these open forums to do proposal and share like competitive information? The smarter companies, I think, are developing their own AI software in-house to do that. So that's kind of where I'm at with my thoughts on where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I think both you and Brittany are. It's a wise approach to be cautious, to look for what you can trust. I know when Google first came about, well, okay, I have to show my age. I was infant, yeah, very young when it first came out. But I know when I was in school, they were telling us how to find reliable sources and things like that. So it's going to be very much the same. Is you have to educate yourself on how to fact check this, how to, how to recognize if something's not real or if it's AI generated, all of those things. So the education is really the key part there. and just having a healthy amount of caution and questioning things. So those are really, really good call outs. And Jesse, I'm going to pose this question to you as well. What
good.
would you describe your relationship with AI? Or how would it-
Yeah, so cautious is never a word that people can associate with me because I'm not, right? I think exciting, fun, let's go figure it out. When electricity, to your point, Stacy, when electricity became a thing, it was evil. It was
Right.
magic.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
We always overreact and freak out. Figure it out, use it if you want, don't if you don't. Now, the best way I would describe where I'm at with AI is metered, because last year, like I'm a obsessive addict, like for real. And so if I don't manage what I'm going to spend my time thinking about, I go all over the place and make zero progress on anything. So last year, the primary focus was marketing, branding, messaging, positioning, like all of that. So I'm going to learn as much as I can this year, which means I'm not going to learn anything else. AI. So, but I was like, okay, and after this, what's next? So last year it was that, okay, 2025 is going to be focused on automating AI, simplifying things. And so here we are, 2025. I'm in this super awesome black belt course, right? Getting ready to be an AI ninja. But again, I still have work and things that I need to do and deliver on. So I have to manage myself and say, no, pump the brakes before I go crazy on all the stuff. And so that's why I say metered, because I mean, Stacy, Brittany, y'all know like how deep the subject of marketing is. Tremendous. Like there's copy, like there's so many things.
Too much activities.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
so much. And so this is what I'm discovering is AI is the same way. There's just it's such a depth. There's such depth in application, usage, possibilities, like, you know, the workflow in Zapier. Like there's so much to it. I got to say, ugh! Like I got a leash on me pulling me back. Like, no. This is what you said you're going to use it for. Just use it here because you have everything else to do. So metered is the best word for me.
Yeah, I like that. I was fortunate in that when ChatGPT first launched, Eric was like, go play, figure this out. Like, what is this? Learn more about it, report back. So I got to put dedicated time towards experimenting with that. But even still doing that, there was so much. Like, I could get lost in it, and I still get lost in it. Like, I made a GPT for repositioning content a couple of weeks ago. I got so lost in that. It was a whole day where I was just like, oh, I can tweak this. Oh, this is amazing. What else can I do with it? Like, it's so much that you do kind of need to meter yourself. And having a course, it did help, because I went through the course as well. So it helped me kind of tame that down. But I will say still figuring out what matters, and, you know, the news of what's going on with AI, because it's all changing so quickly, that's still kind of hard, which is why we even thought to put together the Journey Intelligence show that I mentioned. So I'm going to drop a link to that again. So that will be starting May 8th, and it will be every Thursday from 3 p.m. to 3:30 Eastern. And we're going to be covering a lot of things like what we're talking about here, what's new with AI, and why that applies to you. With that said, I am going to move to the next question. And I think you guys have given a lot of really good examples here, but let's think of another one. Sorry. And I'm going to pose this one to you, Stacy, of what's one example, big or small, of how AI has helped you save time or make better decisions?
Better decisions. I'm just trying to think. So I work with a lot of specialty trade contractors, and from roofing to electrical to mechanical. And I'm getting content from the field a lot. And if you've ever worked with the field, it's like a 1-sentence description and maybe a photo that's hopefully no safety issues and is decent to use. So instead of making extra phone calls and follow up, because they're not on the computers, they're busy doing their work, I take this 1-sentence description and I ask ChatGPT to tell me more about it and why this would be beneficial to the audience, and That has helped save so much time with follow-up in the field, to just ask them simple questions like, what, I can't even think of something, but just a term that they use that I'm like, okay, well, this isn't good for marketing because not everyone's going to know what this means, but I can, so that's one use case that I use it for. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really, really good use, giving it something small and being able to get more out of it. That's perfect. So Brittany, what's an example for you of how AI has helped you save time or make a better decision?
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to mind is how I used it yesterday. And I have some coaching clients. They're mostly field supervisors who are trying to level up their leadership. And there's one gentleman who has the same frustrations, and he's on the floor of a welding shop. Does not have a lot of time. Sometimes, though, calls me when he's gonna blow his lid. And so yesterday, yesterday he calls and he's like, I've said the same thing over and over. They're not effing listening. I don't know what to do. This shouldn't be that hard. And because of our prompt in the yellow belt this week, it was front of mind for me to ask, like, well, have you created an SOP for this? How clear is this what you're asking your shop guys to do? And he's like, well, no, they should just know how to do it. So, oh my gosh, let's create an SOP. And it's so useful because while I have mining experience and I've worked in HR in construction and heavy civil, I don't know boots on the ground knowledge of welding, or I have a manufacturing client. So I don't have to have this in-depth knowledge, and he doesn't need to be super computer literate for us to work together. And his few sentences, my few prompts, we have a super solid SOP for him to then go and iterate. And what I think in the past would have taken me as an HR professional trying to make an SOP or a task matrix and bring in those subject matter experts and to combine it with policy procedure or something, it would have taken days.
Yeah.
And now we did it in 10 minutes. And at least it's a working, it's at least a base for him to iterate upon. That was huge. For me, I don't know how to quantify this, Jordan, but I am finding, this is going to sound so strange, but I really think this is a powerful use case for anyone who is in a position like me, who's a solopreneur. And I don't have a team. I don't have anyone really to bounce ideas off of. I have mentors, but I don't necessarily call or text these folks when I get stuck on something in the weeds. And to be able to bounce that off of or spar with ChatGPT, I am finding I have more energy in the afternoons. Like, I have used less of my mental power overcoming roadblocks and mental blocks because I can use ChatGPT as that colleague that is making huge inroads for me as a solopreneur. Hopefully that makes sense.
No, it definitely does. And I use it very similar. So that's a fantastic example. Sometimes I use it. I'll be worried that an email has come across too short. I'm like, oh, what was I rude in that? ChatGPT is always like, no, because I worry about that too much. But it's a good sparring partner, and it's also a good tone checker as well. Even though that may not be a concern for me. I use it very similar. So that is a fantastic use there.
That's a really good point too, if you don't mind me jumping in.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a lot of, in our industry, in the construction industry, small business contractors, they have either one admin, one HR, one marketing person, one safety person. Those types of one role people could use ChatGPT to help them with their jobs so much. I
Okay.
know an HR person and a safety person that constantly uses it now, and it's helped them dramatically. So when you're thinking about someone that doesn't have a team in a department, ChatGPT is your team.
Oh yeah, and it's a really nice team member too, because it tells you you're great all the time too. So there's that. A win. Um, Thank you for that ad, Stacey. That is a really, really good point. It definitely is a fantastic collaborator. So, Jesse, I'll pose that one to you. What's one example of how AI has helped you save time or make
Yeah,
better decisions?
there's a bunch, right? So I don't know if y'all have used this. If you don't, I say go buy one right now. It's called Plod. And it's like the size of a credit card, and it'll record the conversations over the phone or like in the room. And it'll record the whole thing. It'll transcribe it, which is, there's a lot of software that does that already. And then there's some buttons that I could say, format it this way. And it'll format into meeting minutes. It'll format into a report. Like there's so many different ways that it'll format.
What was it
And
called?
Plod. It's PLAUD. Sorry,
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesse.
I said
You
Claude
could have
first.
answered that.
Totally. You're good. It's an amazing, amazing tool. And so I'm the only crazy fool that works with Depth Builder, right? And so, and y'all already know, I'm not the greatest email person. And so after I have an engagement or a conversation, I want to send my notes, right? Follow-up summary of what we discussed or whatever. Man, I hit Plod, bloop, bloop. I like it. Copy, paste, send, done. It's magic. Now, so highly recommend that to anybody and everybody. Also, make sure you let people know that you're recording because it's not cool if you don't. Yeah, Eric, you should get it.
I'm so glad Eric said that.
It's magical. Now, what I'm going to be using it for, and if I ever do my homework. So, folks, if y'all are like really interested, I do recommend you sign up if you want to be an AI ninja like the rest of us, sign up for this thing. But also know that there's homework between each session. Like I did in class, and it's not like kindergarten homework, and ChatGPT can't do it for me yet. Anyways, what I fully intend to do as part of my homework is I've got hours and hours of me facilitating workshops on time mastery and personal self-management. And I want to build out a whole, web page, landing page, marketing campaign for blah, blah, blah. And the things that stand out to me, I'm a weirdo. Most people don't like what I like. And so what I have to do is like do it through iteration, see what people respond to, change the language, blah, blah, blah. What I'm going to do is take those hours and hours and hours of content, feed them to my new BFF, ChatGPT, and say, okay, ChatGPT, go through all this stuff, pull out the key points, the high points, the takeaways, marry that with high volume search terms, and give me a plan, a marketing plan, a branding plan, a messaging plan based on that, which is hundreds and hundreds of hours that's going to take me a few hours. Like that's the plan. And it's going to change everything for me.
Yeah, I think you just sold all of us in the room on Plod.
Oh man, Plod, it's awesome. Super awesome.
Yeah, really good stuff. So I want to ask a question, and if you answer it in the same way that you've maybe answered previous questions, that's okay. But I think framing it this way is interesting. So, what had to change personally or for your company, if you work for a bigger company, to make AI feel more approachable and valuable for you? And we'll start with you, Stacey, on that one.
So I think it was having someone kind of push me towards it. Well, it was a couple things. I remember the first person that was using it was super excited, and they're like, just gamify it. Don't even use it for work yet. Just sit down with your son and use it for like a bedtime story and just like play around with it. And so we did that. So that's how I first like kind of was like playing around with it. I'm like, okay, this is fun. This is cool. And then, but it was still intimidating for like a work type of thing until I got into my cohort and I was really sitting down with people that were demonstrating what I could do with it. And that was making me feel more comfortable. So I would say, get on a training like this or a cohort, or just have someone that's been using it for a while and ask them to spend like 15, 20 minutes with you and just show you kind of how to use, like, just like a little partner.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good advice. I've had family ask me to do the same thing. That's like my new thing now is, hey, can you show me how to do that with AI? So that's really good advice. Brittany, how about for you? Did anything have to change for you personally, for you to make for AI to feel more approachable or valuable for you?
I don't know if anyone's going to believe this, but I'm not being paid to pitch. Of course, I'm not. But that was it for me. I guess I'm different than Jessie. I wish I was probably more like unafraid to break things or just move fast, but I'm not. And so for me, it was really knowing that I'm getting an expert like Mark who has played around with it, knows how to structure the learning so it's not overwhelming for me, and then take us new places. If I wasn't in this and I didn't feel like I had someone reputable and that I could trust showing me, I just would not have done it. Yeah, I probably would have continued to use it like a search engine.
Yeah.
The 2 times I'd used it before starting the training, and I didn't realize some of the best, even though Mark assures us that you really can't break it, it's not like it takes all these building blocks, but you have to practice like what sort of context and input creates the best output. And I was putting in so little, the output was crappy. And then I thought you're like, well, this just sucks. Or I didn't realize, oh, wait, no, there's ways that I can improve my inputs. So I just wouldn't have been aware of any of that without Mark and the training. I don't know if that really answered the question.
No, I think that's a great answer. I just want to say for the people who aren't aware, Mark Fazuli is who we're referring to here. He's a partner at Journey Alliance, and he's the one that hosts the AI training. So that is, I think, a fantastic example. I mean, you don't know what's out there until you really get into it, and without structure, that's kind of hard. So let me move into the next question for you, Jessie. I'm interested, especially in your answer here. Have you heard any concerns from the construction industry as a whole about AI?
Oh yeah, and it's like the typical stuff. And so here's the funny part, right? Every construction company thinks they have some secret magical sauce that is their competitive advantage, and they don't.
Yeah.
It's all the same stuff. The difference is the way they lead, how much they invest in their people, and the integrity of the human beings in their charge. Period. Everybody has an estimating software. Everybody has a scheduling software. Everybody has different labor rates and different deals with vendors. Like, that's not the sauce. So anyways, I say that to set the stage that I've been in industry organizations where we're having conversations about like, hey, we need to like help other people get better at estimating. And right away, oh, you can't see my spreadsheet. We can't really get too far in the details. Like, come on. And so it's just, again, it's what did people do when Google came out? What did people do when electricity came out? It's the same thing. People are afraid of ChatGPT sucking all of the secrets out of their brain and then passing them out to the rest of the world. So that's one. What I think is a valid concern is people being lazy, and there's plenty of examples about it, but people being lazy and saying, hey, ChatGPT, what's the answer to this? Which can be misinformed or right? It could give you a wishy-washy answer if you don't give it enough context. And then using that as the answer that could cause problems, which again is not a Chat GPT thing. That's a human integrity thing.
Yeah.
That's my observation of what people are worried about.
No, that's a really good point. And on concerns with the proprietary information, ChatGPT does have team and enterprise versions, which doesn't use your information to train their models. So if you're using that for your team and for your work, you definitely want to make sure that you're using the team and enterprise version. Just putting that out there. Stacey, what about you? Are there any concerns that you've heard?
Before we even say the team and enterprise version, I feel like history shows that I don't even trust that, to be honest, because companies pay out companies and things happen. So I think the best case, if you do have that type of information and want to use it, would just be to build your own thing, honestly. But back to Jesse's point, I am totally with you. Like, there's not a lot of secrets out there. Like, it really is. I worked with one of the top performing mechanical contractors, the largest in the DC area, and the owners there are, I mean, they invite their competitors over all the time because they know this. They know that, and people try to duplicate them, and they can't be them because they are them and you are you. And I never understood that part of it. So yeah, just, gotta go all in.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good point that you guys are making. It's the humans behind all of this that matter and that make the difference. And that's something important to remember, even as we're leaning more into using AI. It's the humans are the difference. The humans are the difference in the input and what you get in the output. So really great points there. Brittany, for you, I know you've mentioned your concerns. Have you talked to anybody else maybe and heard concerns that they've had about using AI in their work or even just in their lives?
This is something that I've wrestled a little bit with. And Jordan, your LinkedIn posts have helped me frame this for myself. So I don't want to claim this as my own idea. There probably are concerns about jobs going away, even in the construction industry. And I work closely with a women in construction group. And those are oftentimes, these women are in more office roles, not swinging hammers. And, will this disrupt my job or make it go away? My opinion, though, at this point is you will become more efficient. If you use it correctly, you will do your job better. You will be a better resource for your company. You can enhance your role. Are there parts of your job that will go away? Probably, or be automated? Probably. However, does that free you up to do the things that only you can do? Ideally, yes. So that's my answer is, yeah, it's a disruptor, obviously. But that's, I think, also why I'm encouraging, especially my women in construction group, to harness this and learn it now. Because it doesn't have to displace or replace office work.
Yeah.
It gets rid of the stuff you didn't want to do anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, it should be an amplifier. And I totally get that, Brittany. I'm not sure that I've really discussed it, but fear was a huge part of my reaction to initially hearing about AI, because a lot of what I do is content writing. And it's like, here's this thing that can write content. Content's not that great on its own without you doing better input and editing it. But I was like, you want me to work with this thing that's going to replace me? But no, it's me getting ahead of it and learning what my role is going to look like in the future with this. So that's such a great point. So I know we're getting to time here. We got about 5 minutes, but there's one more question I want to ask before we get to the outro here. And this is, if someone in the audience said, this sounds interesting, but I don't have time for it, what would you tell them? And I'll start with you, Jesse.
Yeah, I will agree. I don't want to minimize, right? if you don't have time for it, you are 100% correct, and you will stay precisely where you're at until you finally have time for it. And wishing to have time for it is not going to make it happen. Deciding to have time for it will. That's it.
Awesome. Perfect answer. How about you, Stacy? What advice would you give to someone who says they don't have time?
It's the same with like exercising. Like I didn't have a lot of time last year to exercise, and that's why I gained some weight. Like, so I mean, you just have to you have to make some time, and just don't overwhelm yourself. Commit to like 5 minutes a day or whatever it is. Just get on the platform, ask it to do something, and then it's just going to be like, I'm in it as much as I'm on LinkedIn because I manage a ton of profiles on LinkedIn, and I'm on Outlook. So it's and it might be different for each person. Like if you're a field worker and, that's different, but if you're in an office role or some of the roles that I mentioned earlier, safety, HR, you should be in it every day. I think so.
Absolutely. And Brittany, we'll go with you as well. What would you say to someone who says they don't have time?
That's where I was up until 2 weeks ago, Jordan. I thought, well, I don't have time to learn this. And so I really needed the accountability of having some homework through the AI transformation module. And it has not taken that much time. And it's already saving me so much time. I can't believe I didn't do it earlier. So yes, just carve out. And if you need that accountability partner like I did, the Mark's training is perfect for that. But just carving out those, maybe 90 minutes a week is already saving me so many hours. It'll just snowball.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's a very similar thing that I found by spending more time with it and learning more that I can do with it. So I'm going to go ahead. We're kind of at time here. So I'm going to let everybody kind of give you how to contact them. Brittany, we'll start with you because you were up last. So how can people contact you?
Yeah, LinkedIn is the best. I'm kind of like Jesse. Emails get a little lost, but I'm on LinkedIn all the time. And yeah, peoplecreateprofit.com. You can contact me through my website as well.
Awesome. And I just dropped Brittany's website in the chat here in the comments, so you'll see that. All right. And then we'll go to you, Stacy. How can people contact you?
Same with LinkedIn. I also run a podcast called the Morning Huddle Construction Show. We're getting ready to, it's every Tuesday at 9 a.m. live on LinkedIn, but we're getting ready to wrap up the season. We'll be back in September, but a little plug in September, we're having a guest step on. He is an expert consultant in AI in the AEC world. So not just ChatGPT, but he helps architects and engineers. He also has a free library of 1,500 AI softwares like Jesse was talking about. It's so overwhelming at this point, right? It's not just ChatGPT, but he'll be on to kind of go over and give us a view of that. I'm always interested. I don't need AI for architecture, engineering, or anything like that, but being in that industry, I do want to see what's kind of out there. So he'll be on our show September 9th. So that will be a good one to check out too.
Awesome. I dropped Stacy's website in the chat there at steeltoecommunications.com. And Jesse, how about you?
Yeah, similarly, I'm always stalking on LinkedIn. So if you want to find me there, search Jesse Depth Builder. The website, I put my link in the chat. And every Saturday I live stream. So tomorrow we've got the No BS with Jen and Jess live stream. And if you are okay with having like real raw conversations about being an imperfect human being in construction and in business, you should come. And then anywhere else, if you find me, just give me a like or a comment. Lurkers, I love you, but when you don't comment, I don't know you're there, and I know you're thinking about me.
How could we not be? Thanks for that, Jesse. And Thank you guys for being here. I want to mention again, since we're talking about our podcast here, that we are launching Journey Intelligence, which will be a weekly show to give you the latest updates in AI and what those updates mean for you. That will be starting on May 8th, and it will be every Thursday thereafter, 3 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. Eastern. I'll drop a link to it here in the chat. And then this AI training that we've been talking about this whole time, I'm dropping a link to that as well, or you can scan this QR code one last time to learn more information about it. And with that, thank you all for being here. Thank you so much to our panelists, and we will see you next time.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Peace.